Across industries, CFOs are playing an increasingly influential role in their organization's overall IT strategy. However, keeping track of all the software used throughout an enterprise, not to mention the associated software licenses, is becoming even more challenging, particularly for multinationals. In this episode of FDE TV, we are looking specifically at the two main advantages of software asset management. We speak with Alexander Lodenkemper from Aspira, a company founded 16 years ago, designed to specifically look after software asset management for enterprise customers. We also speak with Eric Chu from Fisher IT Asset Consulting, a division of HW Fisher & Company that specializes in software license compliance and advisory. Leading analyst firms have already flagged up the significance of the CFO's responsibility when it comes to IT. However, let's hear from Alex whether he sees an increase in collaboration between IT and finance.
The collaboration between all the departments that have in any way to deal with software licensing and the usages of software are or must be involved in software asset management. That means it could be that the initial requirement pops up in the IT department. Maybe there is an audit letter hitting the procurement or vendor department. Maybe the CFO wants to realize cost savings. So in the end, there's several departments and functions involved in the SAM program.
So what are the biggest challenges organizations face when managing their software assets?
So the top three biggest challenges we've seen are the value challenge, the operational challenge, and also the data challenge. So on the value side, it's the traditional challenge of understanding how you can manage, on one side, keeping in control of your license compliance obligations for your software publishers, but on the other side, keep driving the cost of software down and then keep maximizing the value of the software you bought. That's the challenge of maintaining the both sides of the equation, and that's the value challenge. The operational challenge is, again, a potential conflict or debate around how much we invest in managing our software assets, tracking our obligations and our asset usage, versus how much return we can get. So, and the advice we give to our customers is to always use a value-based approach. Don't try to manage everything, but only manage the core, the most important assets in your portfolio, so that you can get the maximum amount of value from software asset management. The third challenge is the data challenge. Now, because the vast amount of data we have to extract, collect, consolidate and analyze for the purpose of better managing software, it is always one of the biggest challenges for the operational team who manage the software on a daily basis. And sometimes it requires a lot of effort to understand what data you need to extract them from what systems and how do we analyze them and eventually make it into a management-ready, actionable business intelligence report.
The biggest challenge that big companies face, and we are dealing with large companies worldwide, is the variety of software titles on the one hand, but also with the complex organizations that companies have, and the mergers and acquisitions going on a daily basis. So companies will be acquired, companies will be sold, people coming in the company, leaving the company. So the changes that are going on a daily basis makes it very hard for SAM managers to track all the changes without the help of a tool. The most common mistakes that companies make is the lack of management attention. So the people who want to start a SAM program, for example, are not able to sell the initiative to senior management, to the CFO, to the CIO. The second thing is that they do not have sufficient data quality. So the data is widespread over different divisions worldwide, different entities, mergers and acquisitions going on. There's constant change that cannot be securely tracked. And the third thing is they do not have the appropriate technology to do this. And this is where our tool comes in.
Software asset management tools can help enterprises in a multitude of ways. However, what exactly is it that most companies are really looking for from these tools? And how can companies like Aspera help realize these objectives?
One of the most common questions we get asked when the customers are selecting a toolset for their software asset management program is, how easily can I set this up? How easily this tool can integrate with my existing data sources and existing toolsets, rather than do I have to reinvent the wheel and then redeploy everything again? And this is where the unique design of Aspera really comes in to help, because Aspera essentially is a very smart, centralized platform that works with pretty much all the mainstream data sources and toolsets on the market today. So the speed of setting up Aspera and then implement it is a lot quicker than most of the competitors on the market today.
As Aspera, as a company dealing with only this one topic, software asset management, we provide three things. One is the tool, which is the logic, the intelligence for calculating all the different license entitlements and the demand for software. Second, we provide the content with a built-in catalog, which contains SKUs or stock keeping units for software and licenses. And third, we provide the services around this offering. So if somebody has a lot of contracts, central ones, local ones, central procurement, local procurement, and a zoo of software around the world, then we keep that in a catalog. So whenever something gets into the tool, it will be so-called normalized, so it can be calculated with the help of metrics. So we provide the whole ecosystem of software and service for software asset management.
Achieving cost savings around software licensing should always be one of the top priorities for organizations that use softwares delivered by multiple vendors. But what kind of financial impact can software asset management have on software licensing costs for these types of enterprises?
Once you achieve the transparency which is necessary to get a grip on your cost-saving efforts, is when you know what you're using and you know what you have purchased, you have achieved the compliance balance, which is one of the first steps. Along with that, you get additional transparency in your software ecosystem, and then you can really take a look at those contracts that you have and determine whether it is way too much that you pay for it when you have, for example, all-you-can-eat contracts, so you can buy whatever software you want. But if you don't know what people are really using, then you may be paying way too much. And so if you have transparency in your software asset, then you can really start saving costs through buying what you really need. The whole thing about software asset management is a journey. So once you start the initiative, you will deal with data quality issues, you will deal with organizational issues, complexity, different stakeholders. And once you start this journey, you will deal with vendor audits that you want to defend yourself against. And the end of the journey, that will be the part where you put in all your finance data around the software licenses to support forecasting and planning and those things that are very interesting for the CFO, for the finance director.
The fundamental thing that Aspera enables its customer to do is to support them and provide a platform for them to manage software asset management. So I'll just touch on one thing that most of the clients will work together with really liked. It's about cost charging. So not a lot of software asset management solutions on the market today has that business unit structure or group function structure built into the tool. What that means is that within the tool, within Aspera, all the licenses that being acquired, typically centrally, and then allocated to each project and its business units can be tracked, and the cost can be charged between the business units as well. And a lot of CFOs and financial directors really like that functionality. So I think that's one of the best features most of the clients enjoyed from a financial management point of view as well with Aspera.
So how will the world of software asset management evolve in the years to come?
One of the biggest changes happening to the software industry today is software is moving to the cloud or software as a service. So traditionally, software asset management has placed a lot of emphasis on software inventory, finding out what software is installed on which devices. And a lot of SAM tools is actually built from that discovery point of view. And that has its use for a limited time frame in my experience, and it's still working for some of the customers today. But as software is moving to the cloud, the focus on actually understand your software license obligations, the terms and the actual license models in the contract, it's actually more important. And that's where I think the Aspera's design is very unique and fit for purpose for the future growth. Because from my experience, Aspera is the only tool set that actually was built on the foundation of contract analytics and entitlements mapping. So rather than the other way around, trying to scan software installations or capture user counts. So I think that's where we see Aspera come in. The strong capability of contract analytics and modeling will really help its customers to manage software in the next 5 to 10 years.
I see two aspects for the future. One is the even higher risk than ever before, because all the big software vendors, they are on a way to still increase their business growth, their revenue growth. But on the other hand, they can't find any more customers. So they need to find other ways how to generate revenue. So the risk of audits will even increase. So there will be a much higher need for transparency in the software asset management world than ever before. The second aspect is the move towards new technologies like cloud, bring your own device, Internet of Things. Those initiatives will create an even higher complexity. So the need for transparency will be even higher than before.
We all know that the role of the CFO has evolved heavily in the past few years. They are no longer just the head of finance, but also a facilitator who has a growing influence over not just HR, as we have seen in previous episodes of FDE TV, but also over IT. The CFO is now being seen as an enabler of corporate strategy, and therefore the collaboration between finance and IT is becoming ever more important. We have witnessed what has been in effect an evolution when it comes to aspects such as Internet of Things, digital technology, as well as the cloud. However, contrary to what many people believe, software asset management will not cease to exist. In fact, it will become even more important and thus even more challenging due to not only the vast amount of data coming into an organization at any one certain time, but also because of the ever greater need for transparency.